Previously on Sister Wives.
The way that Robyn reacts to this is like at a congressional hearing when some senator just committed wild fraud or something.
And somebody is like, "Did you commit fraud?" And they look them in the eye and say,
I do not recall. That's the energy I'm getting from Robyn here.
Do you remember the personality test you and your sister wives took?
I never took it, but I remember it, yeah.
Permission to treat the Robyn as hostile.
Permission granted.
Huh? I present Exhibit A, Season 6, Episode 10. Robyn, is that or is that not you? Filling out a personality test.
I don't recall.
Do you deny the allegation that you are a Type 4 individualist?
No! You got me wrong.
Do you refute your characterization as being overdramatic, self-absorbed, and constantly demanding preferential treatment?
I plead the fourth wife.
Next question. Why do you believe the family hates you and your children?
I received an anonymous tip.
Viewers, tell us who you believe Robyn's anonymous source is now. Text your answers to SWTXT. If you believe it was Cody, text 1. If you believe it was McKelty, text 2. If you believe it was Alice, text 3. And if you believe Robyn made that shit up, text 4. Our results will be announced after these messages.
So no one told you that polygamy was bad. You have got no husband, your kids have got no dad. It's like you're always stuck as baseless life, when it hasn't been a good week, a month, a year, in your whole life. He's not there for you. He's afraid of being poor. He's not there for you, like he wasn't there before. He's not there for you. What doesn't any do?
Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Angie. This is my husband Tim. Morty's over here. And this week we are recapping from The Little Mermaid Broadway musical. Ooh, look, Ariel is swimming right above us.
Wow.
I can see why Christine would have enjoyed this kind of date. It just screams her, Disney fanatic and all. But apparently at this point in the show, she relates to the Disney villains more.
That makes sense.
We'll talk about it. Goodness, Tim, can you believe we've done 18 of these?
No. The disillusion of my soul.
It feels like it was just yesterday I was animating the Sister Wives Buddy skit in August for the first episode of the season. And now, 4 months later, we are down to the final installment of the one-on-ones.
Oh my gosh, it's been that long. Sorry, it takes up all of Angie's free time to do all this stuff, so it's just 1 week after another.
Well, you can have me back after this because we're not recapping the crappy talk back.
Ooh.
Anyways, I have nothing else to announce, so let's recap this episode. Sister Wives Season 18, Episode 18, One-on-One Part 4.
This could have all just been an email.
Yeah, I know. We start off with the topic of Christine's new love life. Suki flaunts this piece of information to Mary. Our host asks, since Christine is happily engaged now, does that encourage you to find your soulmate? The ex-first wife confirms that assumption, saying she does have hope. She's questioned further about the new engagement. She did meet David a couple of times and is happy for Christine on finding her person. Janelle is asked the same question. She's met David a number of times and deems him to be a good fit for Christine and a good man in general. She describes him as a breath of fresh air. We then get to Cody. He did encounter David once at Gwen's wedding reception. They had a mild, light-hearted conversation for about 15 minutes.
It's more than I would have given Cody credit.
Bye.
I just imagine that Cody, the first time he sees David, his first response is he's really scared, and so he's just like, and then his second response is where he tries to puff himself up to look big. Then he puts his foot in his mouth, and then is just gets mad and runs away. That's what I would have expected. For 15 minutes, that's so much more civil than I would expect from Cody.
He's afraid David's going to emasculate him.
I mean, as far as Cody's concerned, he already has been.
How?
Because he took away his wife. Which obviously doesn't work actually because Christine left before him, but his mind is just a tattered mess.
It's shocking that Cody can put one word in front of the other. Bobby Locke says that any interaction David could have had with him happened through Robyn. He says, he mostly talked to Robyn. She came back to me and said he was very sweet.
Okay.
Suki pivots the conversation to be about Christine and Cody's Salsa Brava meetup. Cody remembers it. He describes his ex's behavior as hysterical and cynical. He points his finger at her, saying she would drive a metaphorical truck over him if she could. He then follows that accusatory statement with, "But I wish the absolute best for her. I hope she has the best life ever."
Yeah, that reeks of somebody just realizing what they're saying is terrible, so they shift directions mid-sentence.
Cody is trying to make Christine look bad, but he's also trying to make himself look magnanimous at the same time, and it usually conflicts. The duplicitous man is forced to react to that lunch date. During the part of the flashback where Cody claims Christine turns him into someone who's all venom and vitriol, he starts to nod his head approvingly. He mentions to Suki that is Christine's MO, to get him riled up with hate. The man who has been telling the entire world that he doesn't love Christine nor found her attractive then says the entirety of his marriage to her was uncomfortable in Las Vegas and in Flagstaff. But despite all of this, he, quote, never wanted that to happen. He can't imagine why a wife would leave after all these years he sacrificed to pretend to love her. Like, dude, you have your answer right there.
I think that Cody genuinely believed he was doing these women a service by pretending to love them because he's so great that being around him is a privilege, and that if it wasn't for Cody, nobody would pretend to love these women. I legitimately think that he thought that he was some benevolent benefactor
to get into heaven.
Because in their religion, you can't get into heaven unless you are a man or a woman that is riding on the coattails of that man.
It doesn't matter if Cody thinks he was doing a good thing, because he wasn't. What enrages him even further is watching Christine's talking heads, where she derides him / enjoys watching him suffer. Okay, so I'm going to be real. It is so satisfying to see Cody suffer. I don't blame Christine for poking fun at that. He was so overly dramatic about having a 99-degree fever and then saying things like, I was in the fetal position sobbing. I almost died. Why isn't anyone taking care of me, even though I didn't go out and take care of them when they were in that state? You say stuff like that, you're just asking for that bus to run you over.
Guy's a piece of
He continues to trash talk Christine, saying she is a mean girl. He refutes Suki's suggestion that Christine's good mood was because of being freed from the crappy marriage. He goes, She was acting happy because she was being mean. I know her. There's a difference. So, I am very happy for Christine, but she does tend to allude to Cody more than someone who claims to not think about their ex should. During the episode, when Cody talks about karma, Christine mentions that line during her honeymoon post. During the episode when Kody talked about special requirements, Christine inserted into her IG caption that she's happy to have found someone who doesn't have those kinds of requirements. And of course, who could forget the nacho-themed party she curated?
It definitely feels like she's directing those at Kody. I don't buy that Christine is as over it and benevolent as she likes to pretend she is.
As much as Christine likes to say she doesn't think of her ex-husband, she most definitely still does. And I think that's what Kody is referring to when he's saying she's mean-spirited. But again, Kody, you wouldn't know any of that if you weren't constantly stalking her social media.
And also if you didn't deserve it.
What? Nachos?
What? Nachos?
The you need to court me skit.
Yes. Oh, that would turn out so good.
We listen to Christine's POV on her teasing disposition with Kody. She explains that she has always related more to the Disney villains than the protagonist. To put it simply, she is tired of concealing herself, more specifically the self that loved to throw shade. She compares herself to Cruella, in particular the live-action version played by Emma Stone.
Not really a villain in that movie.
Yeah, Emma Stone's character didn't even kill any dogs in that one, which is something Cruella is known for.
Yeah, I think that was more of a alternate reality thing.
It was boring. I think I watched 10 minutes of it and moved on to something else.
You tried to watch it?
Yeah, on Disney Plus.
Okay, all right.
In any case, Christine relates to that character since she had to stifle a lot of her own personality when she was with Kody. He only wanted her to show her positive, upbeat, and fun side, but censured her when she was anything but. She restates that the part of her that withheld emotions was thrown out along with the crummy marriage. She goes, "I don't have to be. I'm sorry you didn't feel good. I'm not married to him anymore. He gets to see that part of me." Suki questions Kody if he blames Christine for the ruination of his big picture. He starts off the statement, making us think that for a second he has a sliver of self-awareness. He declares, "No, Christine isn't to blame, because that's all my fault. For marrying a woman I didn't love." So close.
Oh my gosh, he was almost there. He misunderstood the assignment.
Our host makes a pained expression.
Ouch. Wanna go?
Here, buddy, let's go down.
Kody clarifies that that is his truth. Christine also knows that she wasn't loved. Again, Kody, then why are you so upset that she called it quits? Any sane person would be so relieved that their unattractive, mean, unlovable, trash-talking spouse is not in their lives anymore.
I don't think he ever wanted her love. He just wanted her validation.
Which, that totally didn't backfire. We segue into the topic about Robyn. Sukanya asks Christine if Robyn still wants to pursue polygamy. Christine pauses, looks up for a moment, then smiles. She sneers at the thought. She gives the answer she replied with last season when Suki asked this exact question. Christine doesn't believe Robyn has a desire for more sister wives or the plural lifestyle. She leaves it at that. Suki then tattles to Kody about Christine's response. As expected, the ramen-haired man becomes extremely offended by this accurate observation. He continues to badmouth his ex, saying she was always a shitty sister wife who was always sour graping, but she will probably be a good partner for David. He shows a glimmer of cognizance, saying all the reasons he has blamed Christine for the dissolution of their marriage could very well be directed to him. The man who believes he is the center of everyone's world then weaponizes Christine's newfound romance against her. He challenges Christine to 1, stop throwing shade at him and Robyn, and 2, to stop talking him to their children. Only then will he believe her love for David is real. Why is this man nothing but requirements? Christine doesn't need to prove anything to him, and even if she did all those things, you won't believe she's genuinely happy. You would just move the goalpost again. Like you do.
Oh my god.
Why does he keep making connections between unrelated things?
It's just an effort to control the narrative. No matter what happens, it justifies his position. It's pathetic.
Again, Kody is all over the place and doesn't make any sense. Christine is asked about her feelings for David. She finally understood the meaning of a soulmate when she met him. She confesses that this profound realization actually helped her empathize more with Kody. If she had a soulmate, she would never want to leave their house. She recognizes why Kody was an absentee husband. He just wanted to be with Robyn 24/7. Her wish for Kody is to have him let go of that anger and be happy in his monogamous life with his one true love. She goes, "Just let us go. Stop being angry. Then we can all get along again." Janelle is asked the same thing. Will Kody take on another wife? The second wife shakes her head, saying that Kody has been voicing, how is he going to navigate this new life of being a monogamist? Janelle is so resolute in her stance. She bets our host $1,000 that Kody has given up on plural marriage altogether. She jokingly says, "I bet you $1,000 right now, and you can come find me if he does remarry." She laughs. Suki holds the former second wife to her promise. I'm thinking, Janelle, you don't have that kind of money to gamble with.
That's what I was thinking too.
So be careful with what you promise.
Oh my goodness.
Because all of her money is tied up in... I was about to say, what were those Glissé prints hanging on Robyn's walls?
They're all tied up in investment paintings. Oh my gosh.
Janelle resumes her line of thinking, saying Kody and Robyn have found solace in one another. Like Christine, Janelle also wants them to find joy. The douche canoe is asked what he would do if Robyn forced him to court another woman. For some reason, Kody is unusually giddy about this made-up scenario. He replies, "You mean if Robyn chased down somebody in the same way Mary chased down Robyn?" He starts to imitate the first wife. "You've got to go and dance with her." He chuckles and thinks about his answer. He denies the possibility, saying that after this much experience, he now has the wherewithal to tell that woman that he is not going to be equal with his love.
I mean, way to be 30 years late.
Yeah, because remember Christine said Kody should have tried to see where the rest of his wives fit when she pointed out Robyn was his soulmate? I'm glad he's finally learned that lesson after 14 years, to just be honest with your feelings.
I still think that Kody believed that he was the ticket to heaven and he was doing a service by dragging these women along with him.
It's nonsense. Polygamy is nonsense. We get Mary's opinion, saying that Robyn is blameless throughout all this. After all, Kody was the one who abandoned 3 relationships to uphold the only one he ever cared about. We finally get Robyn's position on her and Kody's current relationship status. Monogamy. The woman who has been living that way for the entirety of her marriage claims that she doesn't know how this works exactly.
You mean how this works financially?
Yeah, she's a bright, cheerful little leech. She conveys that it seems disrespectful to the other women if she had Kody all to herself and was nonchalant about it. She scrunches her face once more to try and produce a tear as she complains about not getting preferential treatment. The preferential treatment of having Christine and Janelle come to her directly without cameras and expressly say that they were good with having their husbands stolen from them. She didn't say that last part. She just whines that they are being disrespectful to Kody, her, and their children if they don't do this performative bullshit for her.
Oh, I thought that she was pretty clear that she wanted that.
She was a little more tactful than that, but in essence, yes. She carries on saying she doesn't know how to break this commitment she's made to the OG3 and their children. Like, again, you've been doing a great job when you separated Kody from his family during your 11-day honeymoon, when you didn't advocate for him to be at his child's surgery, when you discarded your Claudia band and got new matching rings with Kody, and a bunch more examples. You are doing spectacularly in that department of breaking your covenants. So just keep doing you, Robyn. Stop worrying. She fake sobs some more. I don't care. People can think I'm stupid.
Again, I half believe she's stupid. I half believe that she's manipulative and terrible. I don't like Robyn.
The news anchor becomes her usually appeasing self, telling the favored wife she isn't stupid. Robyn just wants to have an open conversation with her sister wives about releasing her.
Don't just tell people they're not stupid.
If you don't know who they are.
I mean, yeah, they might be really, really stupid.
Suki, stop enabling this sort of behavior.
I don't get why Suki is so much softer with Robyn and Kody.
Yeah, we'll get to it later where she tells Kody, you know that you're still a good man, even after Christine left. Like, he is literally not. Why did you put that in his head?
Yeah, I mean, Suki is just not good at this. Half the time it feels like Suki's like, Kody, is it stressful having such great pecs and abs?
How does it feel to be the best man that's ever been a man?
Kody, what do you think happened to Christine as a child that made her such a... Her questions are so leading, and the direction they're leading is always that Kody is great and Robyn is just a little sweetie heart, and these big, bad, old sister wives are coming out to get her.
Seriously, was Suki instructed to be nicer to these two?
Is it in their contract? You have to be nice to Robyn? I don't get it.
We shift gears back to Christine's love life. Again, our host asks the liberated woman to compare Kody and David. Christine giggles. The first thing that comes to mind is how stubborn David is about making Christine feel better. David would ask her if her day was fine, and she would answer in the affirmative, but in a detached manner. If that happened, he would be in her face until she caved and told him the truth. This attribute of being acutely aware and observant of one's partner is something Christine never experienced. She goes, "It's insane!"
I can just imagine this similar situation where Kody would be like, "Are you okay?" And then she'd be, "I'm fine." He's like, "Okay, that's great, bye." Shut the door and leaves.
Kody set the bar this low for her. It's kind of sad.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. These women have such low standards.
At this point, anyone is better than Kody, so they'll probably be happy.
With anyone.
Mm-hmm. Suki takes Christine's answer as a cue to have David sit in on the interview. He introduces himself. He has 8 children, 10 grandchildren, and has been a widower for 11 years.
And all this information would be so much more interesting if we didn't know about it for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe a year. He was introduced maybe in March. Anyways. He was married to his first wife for 20 years. Following her death, he tried to go on dates but lost interest. Since his dating profiles were still up, Christine swiped right on his profile when she saw his pic. He didn't say that. He claims that Christine stalked him, so I just took that to mean she swiped right and hoped he would accept the matchup. I'm not entirely sure how Tinder or dating apps work.
Yeah, I mean, you see a picture of somebody and like, yeah, I could bone that person, and you swipe yes. And if they look at you and they go, yeah, I could bone that person, and you swipe the same direction, then that means that, hey, that's a match.
Okay. Anyways, after he got the notification that a Christine Brown was interested in him, he was curious and wanted to see if her profile was legit. He went to one of his daughters who thought an impersonator/catfish was out for her dad. Mm-hmm. He admits that he knew of Christine before the notification.
How? Does he watch the show?
I remember I saw this meme. It had the map of the United States, and it showed the favorite reality TV show of each state. And for Utah, the number one was obviously Sister Wives. I'm not surprised that David knew Christine or at least heard of the show. He lives in Utah.
Utah has bad taste? It's cultural, obviously.
Mainstream Mormons really hate polygamists, so they'd probably be the group of people that most want to see this family fall apart. Mm-hmm. Christine explains that she didn't know David knew of her until their second date, where he spilled the beans, which is good. That would be an awkward topic to bring up on the first date. I know you. You're famous.
I've developed a parasocial relationship with you from watching you from afar for 10 years. I know everything about you. I can quote things that you said while you were painting Halloween faces on your children from 14 years ago.
That's not unsettling at all. After their first date, David was intrigued and wanted to know how he could meet up with her again. His birthday was coming up in a couple weeks. When Christine asked what his traditions were, he answered with, "I usually take my entire family out to dinner and foot the bill." I think this is where she said during the part 3 one-on-one, where she met David's family at his birthday party and fell in love with him during dinner. Christine wanted to do a separate birthday date with him. David knew of that and reserved tickets to go see a Disney musical with her. It was The Little Mermaid. He loved seeing her fascinated by the special effects, the story, and singing, saying this is someone who just loves life. Christine confirms this, saying she was crying during the part when Ariel swam/floated over the audience during part of your world. This heartwarming story is brought down by Suki, who has lost interest in the sentimental part of Christine's love life. Our host gets a little raunchy for some reason and steers the conversation to the more physical aspect of it. She first asked David if Christine is his type. He somewhat answers the question, but emphasizes the non-physical characteristics he was attracted to. He loved Christine's bubbliness, energy, and quirkiness. He expounds upon that last trait, saying that her quirkiness is the icing on the cake. He goes, "Everything she does, this person is someone I really like." He's dated before, but with Christine, it was an almost instantaneous attraction. They continued to date. Sometimes they would talk for hours. Suki wants to know what set Christine apart from previous women he's dated. Surprisingly, he asserts that Christine isn't dramatic, or at the very least, she doesn't bring that tension with her when she is with him. Christine pats herself on the back for that comment, saying that it seems she's done a good job of keeping her personal life free of drama. Our host then asks if he is into blondes. David smiles and confesses that before he went bald and his beard turned white, he used to be a blonde himself. We get a hard-hitting question where Suki asks if Christine's fame ever deterred her fiancé from planning a future with her. David basically says he isn't concerned about Christine's platform because he knows the show will end eventually. When that day comes, he wants to continue being with Christine and growing old with her.
That's so sweet. The idea of the show ending.
I thought you were going to say growing old. So, David's kind of the opposite of Robyn, who only married Cody out of her hundreds of suitors because he was the one with the TV show. Christine, David, and Cody then watched the segment from episode 6 where Christine, her children, and children-in-law had a wine and painting session. This is the scene where Christine's daughters try to hype up their mom, who has been feeling insecure about dating again. This insecurity, of course, stems from being married 27 years to a man who found her unattractive. Mykelti tries to be supportive, saying her mother is gorgeous and it is her dad's problem for not being able to see it.
Ooh.
As Cody watches this scene back, you can see him rolling his eyes and shaking his head as Mykelti mentions how beautiful her mom is.
Traitor.
Like, Cody, you do realize that a lot of your daughters bear a strong resemblance to Christine? Think about that before you scoff at the notion that your ex-wife might be attractive. Your children may watch this back, so maybe, I don't know, tone down your disgust?
I mean, Cody's not a huge fan of his daughters either.
So no real loss on his end.
Ugh.
After the flashback, David, Christine, and Suki start laughing. Our host jokes that Christine essentially manifested David when she told the cameras what she wanted in a mate. Bald, had tattoos, and rode his own motorcycle. A bad boy, as Christine would say.
He's the most well-spoken, very patient bad boy ever, so I don't know what Christine thinks
wanted.
that she wants.
Christine touches David's shoulder, saying he has tattoos there, as well as a matching one with her. She shows the couple's tattoo she's gotten on her left breast, a Celtic symbol that represents new beginnings. She chronicles that painful experience, saying, "He held my hand the entire time. It was not fun. How do people get the big ones?"
I mean, some people are more sensitive than other people.
Is it true that people get addicted to getting tattoos?
Probably in the same sense that Robyn is addicted to buying Precious Moments figurines. I don't think there's a chemical reason to be addicted to it.
Yeah, it'd be painful. Anyways, the last detail of Christine's criteria is revealed. David did own a motorcycle in the past, making him the complete package for her. He admits that hearing his fiancée list these very specific elements that pertain to him before meeting her is sort of weird. They discuss the conversation during the painting activity. Christine explains it was important to let her kids know that she knew that they were aware of their father never finding their mom attractive.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they figured that out.
She brought it up again to set an example for her kids, that they have to do something different in their relationship if they've ever found out their partner viewed them that way.
I mean, I half expect them to all shuffle off to Mary's living room and Cody to stand up and say, "I have an announcement, everybody. I don't find Christine attractive." That's how obvious I think it was for them.
I think that they all realized that their dad didn't really like their mother. We get Mr. Ego himself talking Christine, saying how terrible she is due to making their children side against him. This is due to her blabbing that he, Cody, didn't find her attractive. He declares, "Nobody else sees it. Maybe I'm just delusional." You are delusional, Cody. Those are words from the horse's mouth where you announced on international TV that you never loved Christine nor found her attractive. Your children, aside from just witnessing your marriage in real life, might have also watched your couch confessionals. Why can't you just own what you say, especially when that stuff was filmed? This is the same problem I have with Robyn, where these two liars think they can just deny events that were filmed.
Well, it's that their word means nothing. They will say anything if in the moment it will help them out. They don't expect anyone to retroactively say, "Hey, but what about this thing you said?" Well, that doesn't matter because my words don't matter. What matters is that I am the one in charge. It's infuriating when people are like that because if you try to call them out on the nonsense they said in the past, it just makes them upset because, again, their word is not important. The only thing that's important is that they are the ones in control.
The words are immaterial. He word salad some more, blaming Christine of marshalling their kids against him. He knows what really happened during that painting exchange. He can see Mykelti turning on him, critiquing her dad, saying he never loved her mom. Okay, there's a ton of things to deconstruct here because I don't think Cody was watching the same clip we did. What I saw was Mykelti casually mentioning to her mother that she shouldn't feel insecure if a partner found her unattractive. The blame resides on the person who gave the opinion. That makes sense because you can't really change your face.
Mm-hmm.
But Cody is so delusional. He's watching this simple conversation and saying, it's a ploy where Christine is competing with him to gain each child's favor.
Oh God, the favor thing again.
How did it get this far off base? What is wrong with this man?
He thinks that everything is a competition. He thinks everything is a zero-sum game where there's a limited supply of love to go around. So you gotta fight for it. And it's pathetic. I don't know. He genuinely believes there's some sort of sick familial Darwinism going on here where everybody has to compete for his favor. And again, that's probably the creepazoid polygamy cult that they came from, where, again, he's the one getting to heaven and everybody else just has to latch on to him. It's infuriating.
And Cody wonders why we all hate him.
He has theories, but they're all wrong.
Cody touts himself some more, saying he is such a great performer. His children shouldn't have known how awful he was as a husband to their mom, since he was keeping up the act so well. He states, I was attached to her, and in the eyes of my children, I was there and I was with her. She told them that I wasn't. This is her fault. What she did was wrong. I'm happy that she's found a new man, but I cannot cannot forgive her for pitting my children against me in a very subtle but real way. Okay, Cody, I'll just say it right now. You are not as deceptive or clever as you thought you were. Your children saw it. Gwen even said in a season 17 confessional that a number of the kids were aware of the marriage being off since Lehigh. The viewers saw how precarious your relationship was during the earlier seasons. You are a performer, Cody. You didn't fool anyone.
He's delusional. That's the only explanation.
He continues his drivel that he will not accept Christine has completely moved on from him until she quits trash-talking him to the kids and trash-talking him on the show, as he sits there and trash-talks all of his kids and Christine on the show.
I mean, he's kind of half right, but also she can trash talk you for forever. That doesn't mean that she's not over you.
But she should probably still move on. We get into an awkward part of the episode where Suki really wants to explore the topic of kissing.
Oh my god.
Like, why? I want to go back to the part where David talks about the attributes he liked in Christine, not the time Christine wanted to make out with Cody somewhere for her birthday, but he refused because he hated kissing her.
Well, didn't he say that she didn't like the way that he didn't want to make out unless they also had sex?
I think maybe he said that. Can't remember.
No, that's what she said.
Oh, yes, because it wasn't procreative. The news anchor then asked David and Christine if they have good making out sessions.
Is Sukanya like 14 years old? Is this middle school?
Is this what viewers want to hear? I don't.
Is this what the producer said? Suki, you need to ask them all the things that were the hot rage to ask people when you were 14 years old. In 8th grade. Just channel that energy.
Christine brushes over the topic real quick, saying they are great in that department. She expresses how nice it is to be accepted as her authentic self. Sukanya ends the topic by asking Christine how many ice cream flavors she sampled before landing on David. The already flustered woman starts giggling. David apparently did not know how many people she's dated before him either. Christine doesn't give a definite number, only that these men were unremarkable in the grand scheme of things. She doesn't elucidate. I think Christine maybe dated one guy before David. If not, then I would even venture that David is the first guy she went out with after setting up a dating profile. She did say during the Part 3 one-on-one, on her first night of having set up her account, she saw David's pic and messaged him.
Okay.
We get more footage from Cody, maintaining that Christine is a Machiavellian snake who has to portray him in a bad light to deceive David into marrying her. I think Cody's describing himself. He has to put on a performance / be deceitful in order to have women stay married to him. I think that's what he means.
He doesn't think of it as being a bad husband. He thinks that's what all husbands are like, and that he's just the best at it.
Wow, if that's his normal, then what a psychopath. Baldylocks spews some more word vomit that makes no sense. He says, the experience I had was Machiavellian. If she is not, then she is in love, unless she's Machiavellian, to get her way with her husband, which is going to be a very normal thing in any kind of marriage where you're doing kind of things.
Those kind of things. What kind of things?
What the does that mean? I need Robyn here to translate for me.
Robyn will just blush and say, oh, you don't want to hear what he said. It's dirty.
The actual two-faced snake then says something pretty damning. Cody fantasizes about scenarios where David will pull him aside and start to confide in him that Christine was actually a terrible woman all along. This is when the ramen-haired man would get on his soapbox and tell David to be loyal to his wife and not gossip with him. He concludes this daydream with a misogynistic conviction saying that all men talk their wives to other men. Suki then does something right for once and deflates Cody's gigantic head. She tells him that David is probably not going to vent to him anytime soon, just like how Cody shouldn't have vented of any of his wives to the other wives. She goes, "Isn't that a tenet you hold within your marriages? To not trash talk?" He tries to backtrack on that statement that he is regularly talking his wives to his buddies, despite complaining people are doing that to him. He says, "I've had a situation where 2 wives were trash talking to each other about me." He stutters some more, but is unable to finish the thought. He chalks up his duplicitous way of thinking, saying that all humans are fallible and are always making huge mistakes. But when that happens, everyone just needs to forgive him. No one else. He's the only one who gets to make those mistakes. He didn't say that last part, but that's what he meant. Forgiveness for me, not for thee. That's his MO, right?
Yes, he's a narcissist. Classic textbook example of narcissism, to the point where the only reason that he loves Robyn is because Robyn loves him. He's not loving Robyn, he's loving himself. He never loved these women, he only ever loved himself. He doesn't love any of the children, he only loves himself. It's all about him. If there was a textbook about narcissism, it would just have a picture of Cody's dumb pumpkin face on it, looking like the Cowardly Lion, and you'd open the first page and all it would say is, Cody's a narcissist. And the rest is just, oh my gosh, he's the worst, he's the worst.
He does look like the Cowardly Lion.
It's a weird, puffy face.
But Cody does wish his hair was that full.
Oh, yeah, no, the hair is cowardly hair compared.
We get David's take on Cody's characterization of Christine. The self-described people person doesn't believe his fiancée to be Machiavellian in the slightest. However, he does admit that when she does say something cheeky, it's usually because she is clueless. Any off-base comment isn't rooted in anything sinister. I've said this before, Christine isn't the brightest crayon in the crayon box, so I wouldn't depict her as someone who's Machiavellian. As David points out, she's a little too clueless for these kinds of grand schemes Cody is constantly blaming her for.
Yeah. I don't think that she's necessarily stupid. I think she's very, very sheltered, right? She doesn't know much about anything. The smartest person that she knows is Cody, apparently, which doesn't bode well for her ability to figure things out. I get the impression she's probably kind of ignorant about a lot of things because of that. That's one of the reasons why she does kind of still act like a 14-year-old when it comes to men and dating and relationship stuff.
I'm just thinking back to the time when she didn't want to use a toaster because she thought they were more dangerous than sharks.
Sure, she's great for who she is or whatever, but that's not her thing. Her thing is not being controlling. She's not a Robyn.
Anyways, going back to David, his first impression of Cody was that he is a jack. He didn't say that. He said the more polite version of it. He voices that Cody is someone who wears his emotions on his sleeve. Notice David didn't say heart on his sleeve.
No, because he doesn't have a heart. I like how David feels like a real person, and Cody and the wives feel like caricatures. Maybe it's because they've been on TV for so long.
That we can read them so well.
Or that they act like TV show characters, whereas David's just, look at me, I'm a normie. I talk like normal people do, and I'm not sensationalist, and I'm also pretty conscientious.
Hopefully that doesn't change the more he's on TV.
Yeah.
David doesn't expound further on the observation that Cody wears his emotions on his sleeve. He only says that he would not behave as Cody does. We then listen to the most chauvinistic segment of the entire season, from Cody himself. Christy needs to destroy his character to make her new fiancé believe she didn't leave a good man. After all, he's done the same with Robyn, where he vetted her hard when she came into the family. This was to ensure David Jessup was truly a terrible husband.
Oh my goodness, they went on such a campaign against this guy.
If he didn't, Robyn may prove to be disloyal and stab him in the kidney, just like she did with her ex. Suki tries to voice to him that those statements aren't contradictions. Just because a woman leaves a guy doesn't imply that the man she left was evil. David Woolley holds no ill will towards Cody.
Oh, that pisses Cody off more than anything.
So I'm trying to get inside Kody Brown's head. I'm thinking to myself, in Cody's religion of Mormon fundamentalism, men are the ones who get to be exalted. They're the ones who get to become gods and get their own planets, and the women that happen to be sealed to him get to be on his planet and produce spirit children for him. So essentially, Kody sees men as other gods, and he sees women as worshippers who are supposed to be faithful to their god. I think that's why he's so paranoid about other men's opinions of him. Why would a woman stop being faithful to her benevolent god? It must be because that guy was a really bad man.
Or she's just unfaithful.
Why else would he care so much of what David Woolley or what David Jessup think of him? It's such a misogynistic way of thinking.
I mean, it's almost like it's a cult. It's inherently sexist all the way down. I am losing steam with dealing with these fundies and their... It's bad. There's a reason why they never sit the Browns down and say, tell us about the tenets of your church. Because if they did, they'd get canceled immediately. And they're like, we made the show to teach people about other types of lifestyles. We didn't want to actually teach about the theological implications and theological justifications for their bizarreness, because that's not educational.
Their whole system is based on sexism, control, money, and bull.
And the more you learn, the more obvious it is, and that's why they never talk about their religion on the show.
Kody concludes his thoughts, saying Christine will never receive his forgiveness until he knows his kids aren't gossiping about him. AKA, they have to come to him and prove their loyalty, which isn't going to happen ever.
Also, it sounds like a thing a god would require of a person.
Oh boy, he's such a big head.
Yeah, from all the filler.
This diabolical rant from Kody is then juxtaposed against David. David is asked if he sympathizes with the failed patriarch. The father of 8 says his sympathy can only extend so far. He understands the hardship of being a devoted dad and husband. However, he points out where his sympathy ends, and that was when Kody decided to put other people before his children. David voices that his biggest red flag when he was dating other women was when they would insist he prioritize them over his kids. That was a sign to call the relationship off. He goes, "That's not gonna work. There's room for everybody."
And Kody took that personally.
It's like, no, only room for Robyn and me.
They need to curry my favor, not her favor.
Suki tells David to take a guess as to why it didn't work out between Christine and Kody. David makes the prudent choice and decides against answering. What he does say is that Christine is the complete package. That package includes the intimacy and the communication. If her previous marriage didn't work, it was because someone else wasn't reciprocating those efforts.
Wait, you're saying that he dodged the question in a tactful way and he didn't low-key threaten Suki?
David is such the diplomat in how he answers these questions.
I wouldn't even call him a diplomat. He just seems like a normal person.
Our host gives the man a break and asks less serious questions, such as, how did he propose to Christine? He and some friends collaborated on the proposal. They went down to a very scenic spot in Moab, Utah, which, spoiler alert, is also their future wedding destination. David and Christine walked over to a cliff that overlooked the craggy Red Canyon below. As they sat and enjoyed their surroundings, one of David's buddies asked if they would like a photo of the two of them. The friend proceeded to take out a camera. As this was happening, David then expressed to Christine that this was his favorite place in the world, and Christine is his favorite person of whom he would like to spend the rest of his life with. He got down on one knee and proposed to her. This wasn't before Christine literally dropped everything she was holding on the floor. She wasn't expecting this at all. David recounts a time early on in their courtship when Christine asked him if he believed in soulmates. He was very direct with her and answered with, "Yes, we are soulmates." This again caught Christine off guard, who thought they were moving very fast. All this soulmate talk then transitions to the topic of the actual wedding. Once more, Suki asks Christine to compare her current life events with that of Kody. How was the wedding that occurred when she was 21 different from the one coming up in October? Christine answers that her first wedding was very religious and secretive. The one she will have with David will include all the things weddings have, such as an actual wedding gown, an aisle to walk down, and a color theme for the special guest/family members to wear.
You forgot the most important thing. A man that loves her.
Oh, yeah! That is the core of the wedding, huh?
Mm-hmm.
In addition to the bride and groom's parents, Christine mentions that Janelle will also be there, but not as a maid of honor, since there isn't going to be a typical bridal party. Also, Christine is inviting Kody's mom and his siblings, people with whom she still has close ties to. As expected, Kody, Robyn, and Mary aren't welcome. That exclusion doesn't apply to their kids. Christine has reached out to Robyn's children, I'm assuming Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna, but all three have ghosted her. Leon and Audrey have both RSVP'd to the nuptials and confirmed that they will be wearing the color scheme. Christine says a perk of having a wedding when you're older is that you can choose to not invite everyone, implying that as one gets older, one can choose which people to surround themselves with, something that might have been out of their control as a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
David would have been fine if they just eloped wearing kiss costumes in Vegas.
Yeah, I get the feeling that most men would just be like, this is a waste of money, let's not do this. I mean, they probably got paid for the show.
Yeah, so they're making bank on it.
Also, I don't think that Robyn's kids really had a choice about whether or not they could go. If they went, they probably would have had all their stuff thrown out while they were gone.
Oh, God.
I think
They would have been disloyal.
That you can't make some sort of judgment call on their character for not going, because all of them are still heavily dependent on Kody still.
Mm-hmm.
And you know Kody would just throw a tantrum if any of them went.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Robyn's kids are trapped. Suki then tries to stir some shit up. She asks Mary if she thinks a wedding invitation is headed her way. The former first wife is not keen it will happen since she knows Christine feels awkward around her. Our host asks Mary how she feels about that. Mary has come to terms with her and Christine's relationship, or lack thereof. She doesn't want to induce those feelings in someone else and is perfectly okay in not being invited.
That is insufficient for Suki.
Yeah, Suki really wants to dig the knife in for some reason.
I don't know, it's more dramatic TV.
Like, Suki could have made it more dramatic in other ways, but she doesn't.
No, nobody cares about Mary.
We pivot to Janelle's interview. The ex-second wife doesn't foresee she and Kody ever reuniting. She repeats that that event can only happen if all of a sudden the both of them transformed into different people. Something that only happens in fiction. She then says something nonsensical. She still holds Kody in high regard and is still willing to be friends with him.
Janelle's got a low bar.
This is because she remembers all those good times from years gone by.
You mean misremembers all
Yep.
those good times.
I think it's great that Janelle has realized that she needs something more than Kody, but her weird fixation that he is still a good man is inexplicable.
Yeah, no, I just don't see where she's coming from.
The tell-all winds down with a trivial question about celebrity crushes.
Which we've skipped. So let's now
No,
let the...
I didn't skip it. Okay.
Fine.
To put it briefly, Kody's need to work on his body, specifically his abs, was because each of his wives had a celebrity crush of whom he felt he needed to compete with. I think he mentioned his abs at least 3 times in this part of the episode. The one interesting tidbit is that Kody's celebrity crush is an actress from the 70s. As a 6-year-old boy, he fancied Sophia Loren when watching her in the Man of La Mancha musical.
Okay. That's super weird that his crush is a woman that he watched a movie of when he was 6.
Yeah, his mom even said that she regretted taking him to that kind of production. It might have been for an older audience.
I mean, yeah.
Anyways, that was the time when Kody realized he was straight.
Uh-huh. That was the first time he popped a boner. I don't remember any of the actresses from movies when I was 6.
What, you didn't fall in love with adult women when you were 6?
No, that's... I think it's a weird choice. It's a very specific choice.
The episode ends with Christine imparting that she has tried to be as genuine as she could for the past 13 years and is very excited to invite the fans of the show to her wedding. This segues to a preview of the wedding special episodes premiering on the 1st and 2nd Sundays of January. End of season 18! Woo!
Woot.
So give me a summary.
Okay, so we start with Cody's baseless accusations that Christine is turning his faithful children against him. Then we hear Robyn tell us that everyone needs to apologize to her right now, damn it. We're introduced to a man that we all knew about a year ago. We get some awkwardness talking about kissing and celebrity crushes. We find out that Cody accuses Christine of lying to David the same way that Cody was lying to Christine.
So, excellent summation.
I thought you were going to say it was an excellent episode, to which I was going to adamantly refute.
So, thank you for making it to the end and the end of the one-on-ones.
This was a very fun journey we've had with you.
I've enjoyed snarking about the show with you guys.
Since we won't recap the look back or talk back specials,
We just wanted to say in advance, happy holidays, and may all your Christmases be brown. Keep a tiny Christmas tree outside to ward off the Codys of the world. So here's Marty, and we will see you in January.
Bye.
Peace.
Hey, buddy. Okay.